those kind of experience made me wish I was. And so like I started learning some songs, some Vietnamese songs. I'm here on the back of a bike going, So in saying that I want to capture that, this is a good segue into basically right now the project that we're working on is the AE logo. But after the logo, what are we doing? Am I just going to keep doing podcasts? Yes, I'll keep doing podcasts. But now that I've got the logo done, and the podcast is getting to a level of like regularity and familiarity, because you've seen, like I'm just pumping them out. It's a weekly thing. I make a podcast episode like I have to drink water. You know, I actually, in fact, later on when you go, I'm going to sit down and like write down how do I, actually no, fuck writing it down, I'll say it now, right? My example being, I actually record on a weekend, like a day like today. Yeah. So this is the timeline of a project like today. I get it. We finish recording. I don't even touch it. I don't want to look at it. I don't even want to listen to it because we just spoke. I leave it till the end of the weekend. So I go into Monday. All right, Monday, I sit down. I've told you this last night about get the audio. Right, I cut out all the claps that we make. Did you see this week's episode that I posted? We had the claps at the start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've left them. They were good. It was funny. I cut up the claps and stuff. Right. The reason I do that is because I do that on my laptop. Get that all done. And the idea is, but by the end of the night, that has to be uploaded up to the Simplecast, or the audio has to be uploaded, right?
Yep.
But it's not even for everyone else. It's more for me. Why do I do that? Because then on Tuesday, while I'm working through my day, I can sit there and just listen to it and take notes. Take notes of how I'm going to cut these snippets up. Get that done. Now, if I have an efficient day, that night, Tuesday night, I'll come home and I can edit as well. All right? But chances are I don't, which is fine, because what it means is Wednesday, I come home and I edit. All right, I come home, I edit, and I usually don't get them all done in time because I want to be trying to get to sleep. Right about after 2, I need to go get to bed. I've got to work tomorrow. I get as much as I can edited, boom, into bed. Next morning I wake up, I get the rest edited, I upload them all as a draft so they're there, and then I start filling all the other things. And boom, I've got them all up by end of Thursday, which means that at the end of the Thursday, Thursday I finished and I had like, I kind of like went, oh, I'm done. Like, I don't have anything else to do. Like, this is what it feels like to be done with the work. And so I felt like, you know how like you always feel, one of the things that was tiring about this podcast was it felt like, when does this fucking end? Like, I'm just going to keep working, right? But the way I've set it up, because I finished by Thursday, right? Thursday, like just before dinner, boom, I have dinner. That's it. That's my day. That's my week done. That's what my weekend starts on Thursday night, because I'm just relaxed. Friday I work, go do my sports, I come back home, I get to sleep early, can't do anything, boom, I've planned the weekend. When am I recording, what am I doing? And because I told you about that backlog, I know there are weekends sometimes I won't be able to get any recording done. So every weekend that I can record, I record. Because there will be a weekend where I can't. And great, I'll have like 6 backlog. Cool, I still get the upper, just with the consistency. I'm flexing that muscle. And you've started to see like how I get more fluid with like trying to set things up and stuff. It's been really great. But this had to reach a level of, okay, that's good, I can keep doing this now. I haven't put too much thought of it. It's just, like eventually, it's exhilarating. Like there's a level of like, okay, upgrading stuff, recording cameras. I like this format that we have, but I don't know how good that is. We're not really seeing our face. So I know that I'm probably going to want a 2 camera thing so we can see both our face, have the conversation. There's a lot of upgrading that has to happen. And then also the other projects that I want under the AE banner. Throughout this year, if new music from Vietnam comes out that I'm going to co-sign for like advertising stuff, boom, I'm hopping on that. So there's a level of looking into advertising, things like that. And then that all comes down to, because I love my music, trying to capture that same feeling I had in Vietnam when I'm around jamming, but here in Australia. And that's the next project right here. I've written it down as Vietnamese Jam Live Music Group in Sydney. The idea being, my friend used the word Sang Chơi, which means playground. The Vietnamese youth from Vietnam living in Australia don't really have a Sang Chơi. They don't really have a playground, is what it seems. Vietnamese people have an area, Bankstown, Cabramatta. From what I've seen, I think the Vietnamese youth kind of just stick together. Like, if you're young Vietnamese from Vietnam living in Australia, you have your friends who came with you and you just kind of hang in that group. You don't really... it's just the nature of like Asians as well. Asians from Asia. There's there's the reservedness to it.
Mm.
On my end, like I really have like I don't know, like I care, but like it never gets reciprocated. I think like I'm too much. I'm so high energy. Like I've grown up from here, right? So I come off kind of standoffish, but then also because I come on so strong, I can imagine why people were a certain way, especially here. It is what it is, but I'm trying to find a way to overcome that, to create that sanctuary, that playground.
Yep.
Because I think through that, we'll give them a place to kind of come around where we can do that. Sit, jam. Hey, you play guitar? Cool. You can sing? Great. You don't do it. And then I'll sit, I'll enjoy, I'll coordinate. I'll be the reason why it can be brought together.
Yeah.
But then once something like that established, there is no reason why other Vietnamese Australians aren't hanging out with us. Hey, you're young like me. Yeah, we're different. We have different understanding, different upbringings. But listen, we're kicking it in the same country right now. You like music? You don't like Vietnamese? That's fine. What music do you like? There's a level. I'm painting a very picturesque, beautiful scene. I know, bro. The personalities, egos, they're all there. It's never going to be that clean.
Yeah.
But it's just this be my attempt. I'm not trying to like create like a friend group or something. I'm just trying to create like bring more of that flavor that I thought that was beautiful in Vietnam. Not necessarily to Australia, but to the Vietnamese youth in Australia, Australian Vietnamese youth. Yeah, I'm sure there's something to be said about like. There's nothing negative about being able to sit and hang out with your friends the same way I did in Vietnam, but I have to do it here. And I know we do it here. We just have our own way. But I think there has to be more than just karaoke and bottles of Henny and stuff like that. I feel like this is something that, whether it's deep or not, we don't know if we don't explore. So I want to peel back those layers and explore and see. And one of the things that I saw was, and in doing a bit of research, I looked at like a page that a group, one of the Facebook groups, Vietnamese Facebook groups that I think has a lot of like those people I'm talking about, the Vietnamese Dynamic Students. I think it's a great initiative. Like they've created this hub where like, so you've got Vietnamese people who are older, they're not students, but they go there and they put out ads to hire people, for example. And yeah, they're probably getting paid like less than what's the legal amount. But the point is that connection, right? They've created this little place where, let's say you own a restaurant. You go, hey, I need 3 workers who speak Vietnamese for my Vietnamese restaurant. And let's say I'm a student, just got off, I'm start getting a job and stuff like that, do some kind of work. I'm a bit timid when it comes to speaking English, whatever. And this is the job I can do. Great, I'll hit that up. There's this cross bond, and then as now I'm part of the group, I get to see that group exists, and you got people like I told you on the car the other day. There's a guy up there trying to sell PS5s for $1,200, and if you buy 5 of them, he'll sell them for $1,000 each for $5,000. But yeah, there's this little, I call it a marketplace, like not even because marketplace is more to do with selling, but it's like a community, right? One of the things that I saw was in December 2020, they actually had a live music event. I think they did it over like online or something, $35 ticket, whatever. But yeah, and I think, oh wow, that's real potential. Yeah. Ideas that I'm thinking of, like, for example, the alley milk tea. Yeah. So at the in the predominantly Vietnamese areas, I go there. They're playing Vietnamese music, and I love that. Like young Vietnamese music that myself and young people in Vietnam like. Not necessarily young people in Australia like jive with, but that was cool for me. And there was a time I sat there and I just listened for a while. Then they didn't play it anymore, but like when I sat there, I thought, doesn't necessarily have to be the alley. They might not want this, right? But this doesn't have to be this place, but in any place, that nice cafe stuff, surely there should be something available where a group of friends can get together and jam and strum the same way we did back at the cafe in Vietnam. And if we can do that, then why can't we have from that, let's have a live music group. How about that? Like a live Vietnamese, a cover band kind of thing. Yeah. I'd love to co-sign that. And the thing is, this because I'm associating with this youth and, culture. This isn't about trying to no one here is chasing fame. Fame and all that notoriety and being known, it's almost like a consequence of work. Like if you get that because you work, great. It means you did the correct work, but it's never the goal. The goal is to get the product created. The product being, okay, if I can pull together a bunch of people to become a live music band, like a cover band. They sing Vietnamese, new Vietnamese music, and they're in Australia, and they're young Vietnamese people, right? If I can bring that together, and this for me personally, my personal kind of development, I'm exercising that muscle of being the person who can kind of coordinate things, bring people together, and make these beautiful things. Because I'll always use the opportunity to say things like this: I'm not the best singer, not the best photographer, not the best videographer, the smartest either. But what I can do is I can kind of talk, and if I can get people to work together, I can get the smartest, I can get the person who's the best photographer, the best videographer, the best singer, and bring that all together. We have a product. We have something that we can all be proud of. If you're a good singer, you're proud of, like, oh, my good voice is in this product. And as me, the person who brought it together, I'm proud that I got to bring this together, put the right people behind it. Yeah, I think that's a nice note to end on. Anything you want to say? Anything to add?
No, not
Bitch ass, just let me sit there and talk for like fucking 15 minutes and just said nothing.
AEV is all you, bro. So I mean, like, yeah.
Bro, like you say all me because yes, like I came up with stuff, but like there's a big level of like weight that came off my shoulders the moment you came on. I definitely, I have my friend who's helped guiding me and things like that, and then for you, like you've really been helping. Like if AEV was like a vision, the vision got more solid once you came on. Because dude, like even if this whole AEV thing I dropped now, at the very least I could say, hey, I did a podcast. I did a podcast.
Yeah. And
I couldn't have done that without you. Absolutely not. Because I think about it, from my first podcast, day one, I already had that visual coming in and out. There wasn't, and mind you, ideally there has to be a level of like, I should have been okay with if my first thing was just literally start video, end video, no intro, outro. But literally, you put that through for me, like, and like, yeah, I know you sat down, you brought it together quite easily, but and I think you understand this is, I feel like another part of you bringing that quite easily has been your dedication to just us hanging out, talking, and like, I remember when I first like hit you up about it, you look like I probably had more to say to try to convince you if I needed to. Yeah. You look like you sold it to yourself. You went, no, like you made me feel like you were gonna be happy so long as I could get what I want, and I went, wow, such a selfless feel. Like, oh, okay, cool, and which is I can't understand how much I appreciate that, bro. Anyways,
it's not every day that you can bring someone's vision to your life, you know.
And I think at the end of the day, isn't that what I kind of want to be doing too, if I think about it. Maybe if I'm bringing my vision, but I'm bringing a vision. Yeah. It's almost like sometimes you step in and out. Sometimes there's a lot of, all roles need to be filled. Like I spent a lot of time being, everyone's trying to be the main character out here, stuff like, sometimes, I met this guy in Vietnam who taught me a good lesson. Sometimes there's a value in being able to be number two and then like kill that job. In whatever that is, like let's say, you know, if this were to be a singer and stuff, that singer is the main person, but if I can bring them up, not that I ever want to be a number two, but just because in this position I can be hey, you're the number one, you're the singer, but I'm the number two, I'm making sure that your efforts aren't wasted. Great. Yep. Number two is so important.